Hi folks, Dave with DBSTechTalk. And today I wanted to give my first impressions of the Hifiman HE-560. Now this headphone was on kind of my dream list for a long time. When I first started getting into audio and started really researching headphones, the Hifiman was very much the dream. Super expensive, very luxury, and everybody said you know if you wanted Hifimans, they were end game, they were this and they were that. And at that time, about 5 years ago, the HE-560 was the headphone for me. Had the wood veneer on it, had the unique headband, and they just looked nice and awesome. And so I really wanted a pair. Well, reviews were not good on them. Wood was cracking, the veneer was cracking, the yokes would crack and all that. And so I kind of was like, eh. And then on top of that, they were $900, and that just was out of the question for me at that time. I didn't see how $900 could be worthy of a headphone, and I was still in the very low end headphone market. And then they revised and reworked the headband. It was supposed to be better, and they had some quality issues, but the 560 was still highly regarded and very well reviewed. And I was like, I really want a pair of these. Now the version 3s had come out, and they have a better headband, and let's give them a shot and see what we've got. So here's the box. Nothing spectacular. Get some specs on the back. These are frequency response of 15 hertz to 50 kilohertz, impedance of 50 ohms. The efficiency is 90 dB, and they weigh 13.3 ounces. These will not be the easiest to drive, being that they have really low efficiency and that the ohms are 50. And I hear that these take to more powerful amplifiers. Well, I just happen to have a pretty powerful amplifier myself in the Monolith THX AAA 788. So let's see what we got. The cables are to be a little desired. It's nicer than the rubber cable that came with the 4XX, but it's still a little kinky. It's going to take a while to straighten, but it has a fabric build on it, which is nice, and it's somewhat thick. Kind of feels like a Periap cable, just a little stiff. Going to need to be worked out a little bit. Does go to 3.5 millimeters, so don't have that SMC connector or the 2.5 mils. They do have 3.5, so that makes it nice and easier to change out if you want. But this is a nice cable. I probably will not end up changing it if I can get it to straighten. So I get one with the 1/4 inch adapter on it, and then also it came with a balanced connector, and that is a Nutric, sorry. And again, same issue. It is just very curled up. Could have been in the box for a while. This was a open box. It was not a brand new, so it is an open box purchase from Hifiman. And again, gonna have to work on getting these straightened out. As far as the inside of the box, they actually have a little bit of silk covering the foam, and the headphones just fit in there, and the cables fit right there. I mean, it's not a bad presentation considering, but it's not one of those big fancy wood boxes that would have come with the wood veneer version back in the day. But it's still a decent presentation considering that these were only $300. So then you end up with the headphones themselves. They do have focus pads on. They do not swivel. but they do go this way. Got your standard grill that feels, might be metal, might be plastic. This is probably some sort of ABS, but it feels fairly durable. Does not feel too chintzy. And then this is all metal, which is nice compared to the plastic yokes before. It's a little different than the 4XX. The original has that rough leather band on it, which this one does have the comfort strap, which is really thin. It is not real leather, but it still feels nice. Has some sort of like, not really foam, but like felt on the bottom there. And it's not bad. It does have the orange highlights, which is a little interesting. Don't normally see that on Hifiman. And then they have markings left and right. Of course, the pads are angled. And little stiff getting them to open. Get them to number 3 is about where it fits on my head. And they're fairly comfy, and they're not super heavy like a lot of Hifimans. Like my 4XX actually feels heavier than these, so it's lighter than that. And they're not mega bulky. Some Hifimans can be really far out there. These don't look too bad. They kind of look like a normal headphone, minus the orange. But the comfort overall isn't bad. How do they sound? I've had a few moments to listen with them, and they're fairly neutral and pretty much flat and linear, and which is nice. They do have an extended treble, but it's not sharp or bright in any way. They do have a slightly brighter tone to them than the 4XX, but they're not, I wouldn't say that they're super analytical, at least just off the first listen. Bass is nice and thumpy. It is not extremely impactful, but it's very much detailed and has quality versus quantity. And the mids are very smooth and lush on them. So be curious to see what my final review is like on the HE-560. But so far, so good. Impressions are good, and the build quality is definitely a lot better than some of my past experiences with Hifiman. And other than the cables, hopefully I can get those straightened up. So this has been Dave with DBSTechTalk, and this is the first impressions of the Hifiman HE-560. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.